Afternoon, everybody. This happened yesterday. Jody Wilson-Raybould was, I guess, heading into question period or parliament or something to that effect. Anyway, it doesn't really matter where she was going. She stopped to talk to this reporter. And watch her face after he says, some people would say you're damaging the party. He is directly doing the work of Justin Trudeau. There's your $600 million taxpayer dollars at work. Okay, here it is. To carry water for the Liberals and insult the former Attorney General. These are all of Justin Trudeau's attack dogs. Here we go.
There you go. Oh. Hi there. Will you resign today, or you plan to stay a member of the caucus?
Why would I resign?
Because a lot of people are saying that you're doing more to hurt the party than...
You see that?
I'm just doing the best job I can.
Could you say that one more time, please? For CBC now, for old time's sake.
So she's being, well, she saw through that. She saw what that was. That wasn't a reporter asking a question. That was delivering a message. And she was delivering one back. You're going to have to kick me out. I'm not resigning. And that's essentially what this whole newspaper article says. And interesting to watch. Trudeau is going to have to get his cabinet to kick her out. Not to say that she's making it easy, but the cabinet is doing nothing but talking about, cabinet, the caucus, they're doing nothing but talking about how improper Jody Wilson-Raybould was for recording Mr. Wernick, but they're not talking about the impropriety coming out of the PMO, the Privy Council office from the clerk, and all of the inappropriateness between SNC, this DPA, and the pressure put on the Attorney General, not to mention all of the other stuff that's going along with this, the obstruction of justice, the refusal to waive the excess privilege that Ms. Wilson-Raybould says is required to tell the rest of her story, et cetera, et cetera. And among all this, CTV News is reporting today that they got Gerald Butt's text conversations with Wilson-Raybould. They've got it before it was released. Obtained by CTV News ahead of the public release, he reiterates his strong disagreement with some of the evidence Wilson-Raybould has provided to the committee so far. So I think that it's really interesting that when Ms. Wilson-Raybould submitted her stuff, it was all released by the House and everybody got it at the same time. And yet in this case, CTV News had it early. I'm not sure why or how. It seems, I don't know, seems interesting when somebody like Ms. Wilson-Raybould submits. There seemed to be a process that had to be followed, and it would seem pretty clear that everybody had to follow the same process. Gerald Butts submits the same style of evidence and stuff, and CTV News gets it early. That stinks to high heaven. And because it stinks so much, I'm going to ignore this report because it smells like money changed hands, or, at least a wink and a nod, right? Sure, we can afford a little extra padding on that Christmas bonus or whatever, right? And it, not maybe directly, I don't know, Sonia or anything like that, or whoever the authors of this piece are, but it seems fishy. So I'm just not going to talk about this article other than say, have a look for yourself. The link is in the description. I came across this from Caroline Mulroney, and man, she's on Twitter saying, quote, "Today in Toronto, I met with Federal Minister of Justice and Attorney General David Lametti to discuss strengthening justice for the people of Ontario." That seems like counterproductive. Seems like Mr. Lametti is, well, from what I've seen, playing for a team that is not worried so much about justice, just that their crony buddies get a deal. The final story for today is kind of an odd one. I came across this, and this website is Thunder Bay Regional News. And, whatever, I live in Ontario, I thought, oh, that's odd. So Greenstone OPP busts 2 Syrian refugees with enough fentanyl to kill 120,000 people. I can't verify that claim. I don't know about that. But I couldn't find anything about this in the news. Greenstone OPP department, 124K fentanyl. That should usually bring something up. Nothing. Zilch. Nada, right? So maybe it didn't exist. But let's go through it. Well, first I'll show you it did exist. Here's Net News Ledger. Greenstone OPP sees $124,000 worth of fentanyl. And we're going to go through what happened. Here's another one. From Lake Superior News, Greenstone OPP busts 2 Syrian refugees. Okay, here's another one. Mississauga.com, extreme dangers, 124,000 in purple fentanyl seized, 2 Mississauga men charged. Mississauga men? Actually, they're not Mississauga men. And I'll show you where I got all these links. It's from the All tab, but it's interesting that it doesn't register on the News tab. CBC's not picking this up. Global News and CTV, they missed this story. It's interesting. It's full of twists and turns. Here it is. We'll start it here. Sorry about the scroll. Yesterday afternoon at 12:55, March 21st, 2019, the OPP responded quickly to an eastbound black sports car that had just stolen gas from a Nippon Esso. Police conducted patrol and observed the vehicle on Highway 11 just north of Windigoken Lake Road. Further investigation revealed the discovery of over a half-pound of fentanyl, one of the largest seizures in northern Ontario. A 19-year-old Mohammed Zarif, a Syrian refugee, was arrested and charged with possession of fentanyl for purposes of trafficking, theft under $5,000, driving under suspension. A 21-year-old MHD Ali Bashir Al-Mani speaks very little English. The federal crown will most likely request these 2 refugees be detained at the Thunder Bay jail. Due to the nature of the charges, it will be a reverse onus situation where the refugees will be required to prove why they should be released. Both men are Syrian-born, but because Canada doesn't deport foreign criminals to unsafe countries, they will most likely remain in Canada for the rest of their lives. I'll point out here, in the 2018 United Nations National Assembly, the leader of Syria said the country is safe. People should be returning to Syria now. So that is something to note. So that's likely not correct. I scroll down. This is an update from March 22nd. These are there are extreme difficulties with the entire proceedings due to the requirement of Arabic interpreter David Abraham by telephone. The logistics of the entire setup require Her Worship Neil to come off the bench to go sit with the court reporter so everyone can be heard clearly. A 21-year-old MHD Ali Bashir Al-Mani is up first. He's heavier than usual, wearing a red shirt with a strange yellow pattern around the chest and shoulder area. He hears his charges. He has an Islamic-style beard, a few inches in length. He tells the court through the interpreter that he is a sick person, possibly has ADHD. He tells the court through the interpreter that he has a phobia of jail. He's told that he will be held in custody and be transferred to Thunder Bay. Al-Mani starts to cry a bit and says in English that he was only a passenger. Next up is 19-year-old Mohammed Zarif. Sorry, I know I just read this. Whatever. He is wearing a blue hoodie. Al-Zarif is skinny and smaller with very large ears and a very strange dark hair reminiscent of the flock of seagulls era of the early 1980s. The interpreter has to go to the medical appointment, and the court is unable to arraign him on charges. He will be transported to Thunder Bay OPP and make a bail court video appearance tomorrow. Let me scroll down. This is the update. Saturday, March 23rd. So this is the court. The Inside Edition has learned from sources that at 10 a.m. this morning, the 19-year-old Mohammed Al-Zarif, a Syrian refugee, appeared via video from the Thunder Bay OPP station in weekend bail courtroom 104. Her Worship Justice of the Peace, Zelda Kitchenistik, sorry if I've got that wrong, was presiding. Federal Crown Ron Pryor and Provincial Crown Derek Silvestro were present during the duty counsel Leanne Robiger. Making a special appearance in the courtroom is Arabic interpreter for the Ministry of the Attorney General. His name is Han Sak. She flew to Thunder Bay, or her name is Han Sak. She flew to Thunder Bay last evening and will remain over the weekend to make another appearance on Monday in court. Al-Zarif is formally arraigned on his charges. Duty counsel Robiger spends a lengthy time speaking privately via telephone with the accused and the interpreter present. Federal Crown Ron Pryor is opposed to the release of Al-Zarif on all 3 grounds. Primary grounds, the accused is not a Canadian citizen. He's a Syrian refugee. There's a good chance he will not return to court. Second grounds, if released, there's a strong likelihood the accused will reoffend. He must have strong criminal connections in order to possess this amount of fentanyl. And tertiary grounds, this is a significant amount of fentanyl, the largest seizure in the history of the northwestern Ontario. There is also an indication of a gun component. Greenstone OPP allegedly found a firearm ammunition magazine with the duo. The public would be outraged if this person were released and bring the justice system into disrepute. Disrepute. Yeah. Federal Crown Ron Pryor told the court that a special bail hearing would be required and it would require more than 2 hours. All special bail hearings need to be scheduled through the Senior Regional Justice of the Peace, Bernard Caron. As these are special circumstances, a request is made to amend the detention order to have Al-Zarif appear in person in court on Monday, March 25th, so he can speak directly with the lawyer and interpreter present. And then I scroll down, and this is the last update on this one. Al-Mini has received legal aid and has acquired the services of a local lawyer, Gilbert Labaine. Jailhouse sources indicate that both refugees are not happy with the present accommodations at the Thunder Bay jail. Federal Crown Ron Pryor intends to show cause why both Syrians should be detained in jail. No bail hearing is set, but if a hearing is set, it will require at least a day to conduct. Both men are retained to Thunder Bay jail. A judicial pretrial is scheduled for April 29th, 2019 for both men. So both men will presumably remain in jail until the 29th of April. But this is more incredible for the amount, $124,000 worth, and the fact that there isn't really any major news article or news stations or anything reporting this. Nothing. It's a total blackout. CBC doesn't have anything. This is the biggest media outlet I could find, and the most reputable I could find, and even so, this is real. This isn't fake news. This happened in Greenstone OPP. They found this amount of fentanyl on these Syrian refugees. This is not what was promised by Justin Trudeau, right? And this is not what Canadians signed up for. We don't want our country to be destabilized because somebody wants to virtue signal on the world stage or purchase a United Nations seat or any of the above. But it seems like we don't have a choice. It's so frustrating. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This kind of stuff scares me. And what can be done about it? In what way can we fix this when all of the news has agreed? We're not touching that one, not with a 10-foot pole. This video will be demonetized, I have no doubt. So what do we do? Thanks for watching, everybody. I don't have an answer. This is a continual question. We need to fix this. We need to have real information be accessible to Canadians, and it needs to be okay to discuss that real information because this is really happening. Fentanyl can really kill people. It doesn't matter about your feelings. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out thepeoplespartyofcanada.ca.